Okay, happy Friday. Happy Friday. 21 things we're going to talk about today. Probably more than 21. I always like to deliver as much value as possible. So I'm going to be telling you about 21 different things at least. And if you want to count them, if you want to rewatch this and count them, and if I come up short, let me know. I'm going to make sure we come up with at least 21 things that I'm noticing about the Villages, Florida real estate market. I'm Glenn Stein, Realty Executives in the Villages. I'm the broker. I'm the owner here. And so if you need some advice about buying, selling, connect with me at 352-572-3796. If you need a referral for an agent or a realtor in our area in the Villages, or remember that many of you may not notice this, but some of you may not know enough about the Villages. Maybe you're going to move somewhere else in Florida. We have access on our website, Buy Sell the Villages. You can see it here on the screen, buysellthevillages.com. We have access not to just the Villages. You can have access to pretty much areas from Gainesville all the way through Ocala, Marion County, the Villages, Bellevue, Crystal River. We have access to Daytona Beach. We have access to Tampa, Orlando, all the way far south on the western side of Florida. Lots of areas all the way down to Sarasota, Bradenton, those areas as well. So we cover a lot of areas, and you can actually search those areas through Buy Sell the Villages. So if you have questions, let me know. We also have access to fabulous realtors in those areas. So if you need a little bit more of a hyper local education on those areas, you can also let me know as well. So just want to be of value, of service. That's why I do this show on our Realty Executives in the Villages channel. Of course, please subscribe if you have not subscribed. That'd be great. So you get notified anytime we're doing an update on the market. Usually I'm doing that on Fridays, but I'm also trying to provide more value as far as what's going on in the community. I'm going to be doing some notable persons interviews soon. I'm going to be talking to also some people that are business owners in the community that are doing some things, restaurant owners, and just want to give you a feel in advance. So if you don't live in the Villages, you're going to get a feel. Even if you look, if you do live in the Villages, everything I'm talking about now is super educational. I'm looking at this, and most people, actually most agents and most realtors won't know this. Our realtors here will know it because I educate them all the time, and I've taught them how to educate themselves about the marketplace so they can be a fabulous resource to you, so you can kind of be the hub of everything real estate as far as you're concerned. So let's look at the 21 things. Okay, so the first thing, and even before I even get started, so comments, that's fabulous. If you have any questions, you can also, this is live, I'm doing this live right now, it's not recorded, so you can actually chat with me right now. If you're watching this later, obviously just put some comments in, that'd be great, and I hope to respond to any of your comments or questions. I'd actually really fascinated to know what's going on in your marketplace. If you're not in the Villages, I want to hear about that, and if you're seeing some similar things in your market, and also any ideas of where you think the market is going. So we're going to get a better feel for that probably in the next 30 to 45 days. So the first thing I've got here is I'm noticing that, first of all, we've seen a little bit of an increase this week in inventory. The 7-day numbers, the new properties on the marketplace the last 7 days, 27 new properties on the market, 45 pending, and 15 price decreases. The price reductions, actually, that's an increase of a pretty good amount. We're seeing more price reductions in the marketplace. We're seeing a healthy amount of properties going under contract since it's beginning of August. Usually this is a slower time, not a slow time, a slower time than normal, but 45 under contract is a pretty good number. That's a little bit more aggressive than most normal Augusts. New properties on the market, 27 is up from last week. So last couple of weeks we've seen, last several weeks we've seen an increase. We were in the teens in certain 7-day number stretches, and now we're seeing 27 in the last 7 days. So that's an increase. So that's a good sign, a little bit more inventory, 79 active properties on the market right now. So what we've seen over the last couple of weeks, We've seen an increase last 4 or 5 weeks. We've gone from upper 40s to upper 70s to about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then we went down over the last couple of weeks to like the mid 70s, and now it's picked up to 79 properties. So a little bit of a fluctuation. It's going to be fascinating to see if it goes up, how much more it goes up, or if it stays steady at in the 70s. And that's kind of what we've seen, a lot of consistent flow there. So that's the first thing that I've seen. We were talking about 21 different things that I'm seeing in the marketplace. First thing I'm seeing is a little bit of fluctuation in inventory, 79 to be exact, as of like 30 minutes ago. The way I broke this down, I want to give you the next 5 or 6 points is going to be how I broke it down in price range. So for those that are looking, or even if you're thinking about how do I price my home in this marketplace, what's the strategy? 12 homes under 200,000, 12 homes under 200,000, 14 under 300,000, 20 under 400,000, 13 under 500,000, and 20 properties currently available over 500,000. That's the next 5 points for you. So it gives you a wide variety, a little bit of a surprise where we're seeing a little bit more homes over the $500,000 range, and not surprising, 12 homes under the 200,000 price range. Most of those homes are going to be in the historic section. The 200 to 300 range, there's 14 of them, but the bulk of the homes, very interesting, if you look at the makeup, are either between 300 and 400 or over 500,000. So lots of activity between 200 and 300 right now, very competitive. I can tell you of one particular case, one of our great realtors. Yes, there are only 3 patio homes, and we're going to talk about that, Snowbound. 3 patio homes, patio villas for sale on the Villages VLS. We're going to talk about VLS. I've got some numbers on that too. What I'm seeing right now is, lots of activity under, between 200 and 300. One particular property with one of our fabulous realtors here, between 200 and 300. It was 239. I thought it was slightly underpriced, and I haven't looked at what the actual under contract price is, nor can I disclose that, but I'm sure it went over asking. I'm sure there was an escalation clause. If you have a question about what an escalation clause is, we can talk about that. I've done some videos on that in the past. But I will tell you that 7 offers on that particular home listed in one day. It was a little bit underpriced, 239. Very competitive in that price range still, even though we've seen a little bit of a cooling off in the marketplace, which I think is a healthy cooling off. So I think there are still some opportunities to buy for sure. MLS and VLS, by the way, inventory is about equal right now, very similar numbers. You're going to see that. I think there might be 80, 82 properties on VLS right now, maybe a little bit more than what we've got on MLS. If you have questions about what the difference is, let me know too. You can put that in the comment section. Days on market, my 7th point is this, days on market, just keeping track. Days on market, right? Lowest ever in the month of July. Days on market, meaning when one of our realtors puts a home on the market, and by the time it goes under contract, that's the measurement of days on market. Days on market at 4 days in the month of July. That's the average, way, way low. Typically in our marketplaces, just to give you an idea, things south of 466, right? Central to south in the Villages, typically 30 to 45 days historically. North of 466, typically, 40, probably 60 to 90 days would be more norm. When it was a pretty warm marketplace, maybe 60 days on the market. But 4 days on the market in the entire Villages in MLS. By the way, just to give you a little bit of perspective, the next lowest would have been 6 days in June, right? 6 days in June, days on market, time you're putting it on the market to the time it's getting a contract, right? Offer and then a contract execution. So 6 days on the market in June. The 8th point in my 21 days or 21 things that I'm really noticing in our Villages marketplace right now. Highest median list price ever, right? 339,000, right? In the month of July. The previous high was 310,000. So 339, meaning property list prices. So sellers are pushing the envelope in their pricing, right? Yes. Yeah, we probably do have a buyer. We probably do have a buyer. So if you are selling, yeah, I think it actually is true. So if you're thinking about selling, yeah, you can connect with me. Connect with me first. I just to make sure. I want to make sure that you're seeing the right stuff. Snowbound. So if you're only if you're interested in selling. If you're not interested in selling, don't worry about it. But if you're interested in selling, and you do get a letter or a phone call, give me a call first. 352-572-3796. Don't call me now though, because we're live. Call me in a bit, or text me or email me. No, don't email me. You can text me or call me. Yeah, so that's something I'm seeing right now is the highest median, the median price. People are pushing the envelope on pricing. That's what we're seeing. And I think there's a little bit of resistance from buyers, a little bit, like a little bit of a buyer fatigue in certain cases, but we're still seeing a lot, just like I was saying before, the $200,000, $300,000 price range is still very brisk, 7 offers on one property. The ninth point I have is, around the country, we've seen an increase in inventory, about 17 to 25% increase in inventory over the last 60 days because of, and they're saying, and I probably agree with this, more people going on vacation. There's a lot of people that are maybe buyer fatigue, or they're waiting to see what's going to happen, whatever. Maybe school's going to start, very soon for certain people in the next 30 days. It's going to be interesting to see. We're going to know a lot in the next 30 to 45 days, which way the market is moving. This might be the new norm, which may not be a bad thing, by the way. I think it's a pretty good market for both buyers and sellers right now. But 17 to 25% increase in inventory. Of course, we've seen an increase in inventory. Remember, about 5-6 weeks ago, we were in the 40s, and now we're talking about upper 70s. So if you do the calculations, that's that's quite a bit, right? That would be like a 85% increase. But percentages can be deceiving, for sure. But if you go up 30 listings, then it seems like a lot. The 10th point I have for you is median sold price is actually the highest. It rose to the highest ever in July 2021. It's the highest ever. So we're looking at highest median sold price, close price, 301,000 to 500 to 301 to 5. There goes my famous seasonal rental queen, just walked in and out. She's giggling. So, by the way, if you have a need for seasonal rentals, this is actually a real thing. You can call Carrie on Monday. She's about to go home. 352-753-7500, 352-753-7500. And, if you need especially now, there's an opportunity for people that are buying outside the marketplace. If you're interested in buying in our market and you need, you don't want to be rushed, you want to buy you want to be able to breathe and not be, hurry up. And you need to be here, and you want to see the home and not have to buy it sight unseen. We do have seasonal rentals available, because mostly season is obviously January, February, March, part of April. You might be able to find something. Is it cold there? Oh my gosh, Karen, that's hilarious. That's the funniest thing I've heard on this channel, by the way. That's her favorite. I'm gonna have to ask her about that. She loves flannel. She does love flannel. She seems to like that. No, it's not cold here. That's great. That's wonderful. And just with that response, we're not recording. We know we're live. That's great. It'll take me a while to forget that one. So median sold price, highest ever in July 2021, 301.5. Previous high, by the way, the median sold price, and that tells you, look, prices have moved up. Inventory has gone down mostly, a little bit of an increase. We're seeing, a little bit of buyer pushback on everything. And median price, the second highest median price was November 2020, 287.5. So most of this year, actually, the median sales price was up there, but not as high as what we're seeing right now. Prices are probably about as high as what we've seen in any of the markets we've ever seen in the villages, right? That's what we're talking about, just the villages, Florida. Record number of homes have sold so far this year. Okay, we know that, but a record number of homes have sold over $1 million. This is not something that's really spoken about a lot, but there's been a lot of properties. There's a premium on properties that have anything a little bit special, by the way. If you've got a bumped out garage, if you've got a golf cart garage, if you've got privacy in the back, if you've got a retention pond. I was just talking to one of my agents, one of my realtors yesterday. We were talking about how do we price a particular home? How do we figure this out? And we were talking about a retention pond. Retention pond where just water just flows. The big deal is that there's privacy in the back, and that's a premium, right? But obviously that's not the $1 million house, right? But you can get an extra $25,000 to $50,000 for, or more, depends on the view. If you got on the golf course, it's even more. Those are premium properties that are selling for more. The $1 million properties, we've closed 12 homes over $1 million in the villages, which in most markets that may not be a big deal, but in the villages, it's a massive deal, because I can tell you, year to date, the previous high year to date, and this is what we're in August 6th. You're talking about what, 7.5 months, seven months, almost 7.5 months through the year. 5 homes was the record this far into the year, and that was 2019. 5 homes had sold over $1 million. And I remember back in the day, as in about 6-7 years ago, if we would have sold 1 or 2 homes that were over $1 million, it would have been an amazing thing. But so far this year, we've sold 12 homes over $1 million, and year is not over. Corner lots, yes, that's always a little bit more of a specialty. A little bit of space could be, but there, it depends too. Because I can tell you, we had a patio villa for sale, and actually just went under contract that I'm familiar with, and it was on a corner lot. It was on a corner. There was a wall there, so it actually had a little bit of space, a little bit of extra space to kind of, for somebody to enjoy. The but is that it was actually it was next to a road that had a little bit of extra traffic. So there could be a little bit of a caveat there. So mostly I'd say yes, but it depends on, street traffic. People are kind of allergic to, having too many cars that are driving past your home. They want to have quiet enjoyment. And, what are they overlooking as they're, sitting, in their patio or in their lanai, right? So that's a consideration. The other thing, so number 12, we're on number 11. We're doing 21 points, 21 things that I'm noticing in the villages market. And so far we've covered 11, and mostly what we're seeing is some days on market shifts, less days on market, price increases, but a little bit of a tapering off in what we're seeing in the market. Not a downturn, not yet. I don't think we're going to see it, but I'm still watching. I'm not stubborn. I'm going to be paying attention to numbers, because you never know. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward, of course. And also, like Zillow, let's talk about Zillow for a second. A lot of the properties that you're seeing on Zillow, there may be, don't pay too much attention to the Zestimate on Zillow, because that, the prices we saw an appraisal be way below what people are willing to pay for a particular home this week. We saw about a 20% difference in appraisal value to a real actual value, and that's extreme. We're talking about a $260,000 home. But we saw some real differentiations in appraising. Appraising is still an issue, because the appraisers are still catching up. They're going to use sold properties, closed properties. And the reality is that when we're pricing property today, if you're thinking about selling, we're looking at sold properties, but the sold properties are the basement. They're still below where the market really is, meaning there's enough buyers to get a little bit more. And you have to be cognizant of that if you're also buying, that we're really, appraisals are really, I don't want to say worthless, they're almost worthless when we're considering value, right? So I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be the person that I don't ever want to be the person that's like, now is the time to sell. Now's the best time to sell, or now's the worst time to sell, or now's the time to buy. And I think in our industry, I'm going to criticize our industry, is that there are many people in our industry. I think that we have the best people. I think that are underrated, that have a heart to do whatever it takes to make it a great experience. That's number one. But also, I know there's a segment of the industry that is Um, they're interested in they're interested in transactions. They just want to do a deal. And we're really, for the most part, our people, my realtors here at Realty Executives, have a heart to serve. Yes, they want to make money. They want to sell your home. They want to help you buy something, and they want to create a good experience. And they obviously want referrals, right? So I also know that in this industry, we have a tendency to say, you got to sell. You got to sell. Interest rates are low. Now's the time to, all that kind of stuff. And I will tell you, I think we're in the window of opportunity for sellers that if you are not going to be using your place, now's a fabulous, fabulous time to sell, period. Is it the best? We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen next year with the market. Is it going to get better for sellers? Is it going to get worse? But we're in that window where it's like absolutely phenomenal time to sell, without a doubt, right? Sellers almost hold all the cards. And it's not a judgment thing. It just is. To buy, it's hard to say. I would say is it a fabulous time to buy? No, it's not a fabulous time to buy. It's an okay time to buy if you really are ready to retire in the villages. You're ready to, it's a great time to buy if you're motivated to buy. It's time to retire. You can't worry about timing. If you're worried about timing, the best place to try to figure out timing is actually watching this channel for sure, because I'm giving you numbers that you're probably not getting anywhere else. It's to the minute, and we're being able to tell, okay, are we able to shift? Are we going up, down, or what's happening? But I will tell you that I think it's an okay time to buy. Last year was a better time to buy. Next year may not be as good of a time to buy as this year because interest rates go up. Maybe that'll help some people. Maybe that'll slow down the marketplace a little bit where there's going to be more opportunities. But based on what I'm seeing, with the inventory being as low as it is, both on VLS, MLS, new construction, which we're going to talk about in a minute, there's not a lot to choose from. So when that is the case, we know from basic economics, inventory low, prices go up. Everything indicates that prices are going to go up at this moment. Things could change. And if they do, we'll talk about it. But right now, I tell you that great time to sell. It could be a better time to sell next year. I wouldn't worry about timing. If you're worried about timing, that tells me that maybe it's not the right time to buy or sell for you. Only buy and sell, by the way, only buy and sell if you need to, or you have someplace else to park your money that's going to give you a better return on your investment. So be happy to answer any questions on that. I hate to be so vague, but each case is different too. It depends on your particular circumstance. Okay. Let's see, we're on number something, number 12. All right. On point for 21 different things I'm noticing. 12, the most sales are still happening between 200 to 250. Okay. Right. If you look at year to date, 395 different homes have sold year to date, 200 to 250, meaning that's where most of the buyers are. Last year, to give you a bit of perspective, 279 homes sold between 200 and 250. I think that's going to change, by the way. Okay. That's going to change a little bit and it has to, because the inventory is not there between 200 and 250. The inventory is kind of shifted up, and we're seeing more homes, as we talked about before. A little bit more homes are in that 2 to 300 range, 250 to 3 to 4. Because of the price increase, I think you're going to see more people. I think you see some people are going to be priced out of the marketplace, which we've talked about, but more properties being sold in that 250 to 4 range here in the villages. Number 13 is just a little bit. I don't think I've ever talked about this or anytime recently, but we are actually, this is Realty Executives in the villages. We actually have been the #1 real estate company in the villages. I'm not a brag. I'm not a big, I think you guys know that people have been following me. I'm not big into like pounding my chest. So we're #1, we're the best. Like, find the best realtor, best agent that's going to work with you. I think that's important. Of course, you guys know I'm here if you need assistance. But look, we've been the #1 selling real estate company in the villages pretty much since 2004 when we started this company. We started this company in 2004. That's when I started here. Started actually in Ocala a couple of months before I did the Villages market. And we've been in this building. You don't see the building, but you see the office. Been in this building on 466 with a Villages address since 2006. That's when the building was actually created. And ever since that point, when we started here, we've been number one. But we've got 22% of the market share. And what I'm noticing is that I think that does make a difference in some way. If it doesn't for you, it's okay, but just something to take note. So most of the patio villas demand, yes. So obviously demand for patio courtyard villas are super popular. There's just not as many patio villas, and there's more patio villas and courtyard villas in the villages. But courtyard villas are very popular. Patio villas are super popular because of price. It's a great entry point, lower maintenance. 1,156 square foot-ish ballpark, right? That's about what we're looking at for the typical patio villa. And then you've got some other villas that are kind of slight offshoots of that, but they're the most demand there because it's a nice entry level, pretty inexpensive property. Number 14, I think that's where I'm at. Yeah, number 14. Let's look at Property of the Villages. I was talking about that. I was actually looking on their site. That's a developer, right? They also do new construction, and they sell some resales as well. Inventory being about the same on the resale side. I noticed this is actually pretty amazing. Looking at their site, looking at my notes here, 50, 60, 72, 80, it looks like about 80 homes that are new builds that are available right now. 16 that are between 600 to 700, 15, actually, no, I'm sorry. 600 to 700 range is what we're looking at, 16 in that price range. There are 24 that are under 600, between the 500 and 600 range. So a lot of their properties are going to be in this upper range. 38 are under 500,000. So let me repeat that. That didn't sound very clear to me. It may not sound very clear to you. So new construction, new homes, 38 new homes that are available right now, according to the website, under 500,000. Okay. 24 between 500 and 600. So that tells you that's a big chunk in that 5 to 600 range. And then 16 between the 600 and 700 range. Nothing over that 700,000 range. That tells me, look, they're not building a lot of $1 million properties, and that's why we're seeing a lot of movement up. Big increases, by the way, in that upper level market. So the specialty homes, the golf course, that's a premium. We're always looking for that. We have Caravan every Wednesday, by the way. We do a lot of old school stuff here at Realty Executives. So we'll have open house, of course. Daily Sun is obviously newspaper is still queen here in the villages, but we also do Caravan, in-person Caravan, one of the few companies that will do that. And during Caravan, we talk about, what buyers do you have? What buyers do you have for your properties? What buyers do you have that are looking for XYZ? And if we try to match people up. Okay, this is what's going on. If you have got a listing, we talk about the listing. We look at the listing in person, or you've got a listing coming up. This is what's happening. That type of thing. So that is something that we talk about a lot. This is the demand is. Demand is high for everything. Everybody's looking for everything, by the way. There's nothing that nobody's looking for, I can tell you that. But definitely patio villas, and yeah, we're really close. We're right next to, we're across the street from Laurel Manor, where the POA meetings happen every other month, and next to Buena Vista. So 466 in Buena Vista is where we are. But we're seeing, lots of demand for that upper level, people looking for space. I think that's probably COVID related. Those premium lots, corner lots, things with a view, things with privacy, things with a wall in the back. That's definitely a big deal. So very interesting to see what's happening not only on MLS, but also Property of the Villages site. On the resales, I did some research on that on the website. They've got 34 properties that are under 500,000, 17 between 500 and 700, 19 resales between 700 and 900, and 11 that are 900,000 plus. So it tells you that, most of their stuff is going to be under 500. They have 34 properties under 500,000. Where if I do quick calculations for us, we've got 26, 46, 59 properties available on MLS under 500. So that actually covered like 6 or 7 different points with Proper the Villages. That brings us to number 20, by the way. Okay. So the 21st point I want to bring up, and kind of a reiteration and just kind of a summary of what we're seeing. And if you have some comments, by the way, if you have some comments, please let me know. If you have questions, we're live on this, so I'm available right now. So you can put some comments in the chat section. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It would be fabulous. I love subscribers. That way you'll be notified of anything that's going on as far as updates. Okay, so once again, I'm just going to repeat that, doing updates every Friday, but also I'm doing a few things during the week, interviewing people that are going to be informative, that are going to bring some value to the table, a little bit more information about the villages and what's happening here locally. But the 21st point I have for you is, a slight leveling off the market, which I've talked about before. The market is probably, if we were a 10, we're probably like 9.5 right now as far as heat. I think it's a healthy movement. It's a healthy movement in the marketplace. I think it's a little bit more inventory. In fact, if we get to the point, and don't be freaked out by this, I think if we got to 150 listings, I think whenever there's an adjustment, I think people tend to get scared, right? Because think about what's happened. Literally, and for the people that are just watching this, if you followed me, you know this. If you haven't followed, this is going to be new information for you. Is that last year we hit a peak of like 450 something listings, and nobody really, it wasn't any big deal. Like, okay, we just have 450 homes for sale, and let's, we'll sell it. If you're interested in buying or selling, it's kind of a normal, like it wasn't a normal market, but for that moment it was normal, right? Obviously, we're going through COVID. A lot of different things. I think, the reason why we saw such an increase in inventory is because COVID affected retirees and people that are older than 55. We know that, or I think we know that, or, I'm not a scientist, but I think that was, there was more, there was a bigger effect. People were a little bit more cautious about going out. Our season was really slow for rentals. People didn't want to rent properties. Now we're almost completely booked for 2022. So if you've got a property you want to rent, we do property management here. So we're looking for seasonal and long-term properties, by the way. We're getting more activity on that for people that want to be here just for a little bit to go shopping, or people that want to live in, or, just kind of taste the villages lifestyle, during season, January through April. Just call us at 753-7500. Carrie, who was in here with the flannel shirt before, it handles that type of thing. But I will tell you that if we do go up in inventory, it's not a bad thing. And one thing I want to tell everybody, don't be alarmed if that does happen. It's not the end of the world. It's not like the sky's falling and the market is crashing. I don't think we're going to see a market crash, but I think we are seeing a little bit of a cooling off, and I think that's an okay thing. I'm gonna close out. Let's see. Oh, yes. Thank you, Jimmy, on that. That's a great question. I'll answer that in a minute. I will tell you that it's interesting. I'm having conversation with my realtors here, and which is great. It's great because I get to share some of the stuff without mentioning names, and I'm not going to disclose anything that's private. But I will tell you that we are having conversations with sellers where maybe 60 days ago, 90 days ago, there was, we were on the market and it was, things were selling in 3 minutes, and now it might take a week. and so for some sellers that might have talked to their neighbors and they're saying, wait a second, our neighbor sold in, 3 days, and now it's taking a week, or it's taking 2 weeks, or, we're not getting 10 offers, we're getting 2 offers. That is a little bit more of a norm right this minute. And that's okay, right? Like, that's an okay thing. I think it's okay because for a lot of things, I think a little bit of a cooling off is helpful. and a little bit healthy for a real estate market I lived through and worked through as an agent, as a realtor, back in 7, 8, 9. And that was, we'll cover that another time. But that was a scarier time and much, much different inventory. Sellers were begging for buyers. And now we're in a different story or different arena. So, be super kind to your agent and be kind to each other is always a good thing. But be mindful that the market could be a little bit different than what it was 30 to 60 days ago. And it could be different in your marketplace, but please let me know if your market is different. I'd like to hear some comments about that. And I encourage that. And if this isn't live, I'll get to your comments and questions down the road. So Jimmy's asking, are they still having multiple offers on patio villas, offers over listing price? So depending on the price. So I'll tell you, there was a property. Let me think about the model. It was not a patio villa. It was in Austin, which is very similar square footage, maybe a little bit bigger, but slightly, not too much. It's smaller than an Amarillo or a Bougainvillea. I think it's 1,200 square feet ish, and 7 offers on this. And I don't remember the location, but we're talking about pricing about $240,000 on an Austin, which probably last year would have taken a couple of weeks to sell, and probably would have sold at that price or pretty close, maybe 235. I don't know what the end price was, but I'm sure it was more than the 235 or 239 it was listed at. So still seeing multiple offers. If it is priced, I will tell you this, if you need advice on pricing, if it's the best priced property model in its category, and category meaning not only model, but also, village or neighborhood or area, that's a like kind area. If it's the lowest one, it's going to get multiple offers. If it's the highest one, and keep in mind, we don't have that much inventory, so the highest one, you might be in competition with 2 or 3 others that are in a like kind category. That's basically going to mean it might take a couple of weeks until we get to that one, unless we see a flood of inventory, which we haven't seen. So multiple offers, still the game. We're still seeing escalation clauses, but it's not as bananas because it's August. So if I were to encourage, this is my gut right now. If you're thinking about buying, and you're thinking about buying anytime between like now, the next 6 months, let's say that's your window. Like, we're going to buy something, we want to retire. I would say, my instinct says this. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. Now, it could be wrong, but based on, I've done this for a long time. I would say now could be a really good opportunity to buy, and you might have less competition now versus September, October. It's my intuition, just because it's hot. But it's not going to be hot as in temperature hot. It says it's 84 degrees and sunny. Yeah, and it's probably a little bit humid too, so it's probably going to feel like 90 right now. But I would say timing to buy would be now, and that's my intuition. But I never want to push people into buying. And if you're over the next couple of years, buy when your timing is correct. On the selling side, it's interesting. Inventory is still light. I think it's a great time to sell, but it could be a better time to sell in about 90 days, maybe. But timing is a weird thing. Things could change. You never know what happens. This Delta COVID thing could be a big deal. Who knows? We don't know. I mean, we don't know what how that's going to affect the real estate market, but we'll keep our eyes on it. So look, call me if you have questions. 352-753-7500 is the office. I'm 572-3796. Website, you see that on the screen. Higher demand this fall. I think there will be a little bit higher demand. And if you look at the 7-day numbers, let me go back to that. 7-day numbers are saying under contract 45. I don't remember what the 7-day numbers in the last couple of weeks, but I remember that the 7-day numbers were actually a little bit less. 45 seems to be a higher number over the last couple of weeks during the summer heat. And, when things were crazy, like spring, crazy bananas, we saw probably, I think maybe even 80, maybe close to 90 under contract, crazy numbers. And then, of course, that's come down. But for the last 45 is a pretty solid number for these summer months. I want to say that's probably one of the higher numbers we've seen over the last 6 to 8 weeks, which means a little bit of increase in inventory, but a little bit of an increase in also demand for the last 7 days. So people are busy, but people are also going on vacation, which I think multiple vacations because of COVID and all the things that we know about. I think that's also helped, kind of cool off buyer demand up north and hence buyer demand here. So look, interesting times. My job, I feel like, is to deliver as much value and information I possibly can so you can make a educated decision whether to buy, sell, or just keep tracks of what's going on. Keeping track of what's going on so you can, make educated decisions in the future. So with that, happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Okay, take care.